Right then, so we are back for episode 2. Right, so let's get straight into some practical solutions and what we should be doing with our mind. Yesterday's video was a little bit on the downer, but that's a reality. So things don't always go the way you want to, but on top of that as well, it is what it is. And you've got to look at the harsh truth and the harsh realities, which we've done, we've explored. All right, we've deaded that. Let's move on to what we can start to do to make a positive change. So let's talk about some business principles that I've learned and I absolutely want to instill with you guys to help you with your journey. Right. So reality check part 2. So let's talk into a bit of business then. So I think now that if you've decided that you're ready to stop dreaming and obviously start doing, this episode is gonna be right for you. We're going to drop some hard truths. Some things are going to be make you a little bit uncomfortable, but nevertheless, this is ultimately what's going to set you on track. So lesson number 1, you've got to move fast. This is the first lesson. It's the most crucial lesson as well. Every idea, whether it be business, personal, social, relationships, etc., whatever that might look like, you need to implement it ASAP. I'm sure we've got friends and family members that talk about, ideas for business, things that they want to do with their family, holidays, etc. But they don't actually go ahead and deliver. And time passes and they just look foolish and they procrastinate too much as well. So you need to implement ideas ASAP. If you've got an idea for a business, click your fingers, make it happen, get started. It's very easy these days. You just need to make a start. A lot of people live in procrastination, and procrastination is a killer of success. If you want to set a business up, let's say in a clothing brand, it can take 5 minutes to get on Shopify, put together a theme, brand, logo, etc. Doesn't take long at all. Get to it. Procrastination is a killer to success. And if you're one of those people that think, I want everything to be perfect, perfection is key, forget it. Do more and think less. Overthinking is for losers, for people who never get anything done. So don't be in that bracket. I'm giving you years of insight here, so apply it. Good is better than perfect. Make a start, make a move, make things happen. So that's lesson number 1. Right. So we're moving quick. When you drive fast, you might make some mistakes. And you might hit the car in front of you, you might hit the rail on the side, you might hit a pothole, you might flip, turn, crash, etc. Embrace mistakes. So on this journey, you are going to make mistakes and you're either winning or learning. So I'll say that again, winning or learning. And mistakes are a big part of life and business. They go hand in hand. And it's not a big deal, right? So long as you don't make the same mistake twice, learn your lessons early as well. It's good to make these mistakes or learning lessons, experience that early, whether that be in business or whatever setting you're in. And then it's not a mistake, it's only learning if you then move on from it and you don't make that, you're in that same situation again. So again, think about what I'm saying. Don't make the same mistake twice, but it's also important that mistakes will happen. When they happen, make a note, look back at what went wrong, what information did you not know, what transpired, and ensure that doesn't happen again. That way you're learning. And again, in business, every day is a school day, is what they say. And it's so true, especially with the likes of technology, AI, things are shifting, privacy policies, social media, GDPR, how you can market and navigate different businesses. If you're in the finance space, different legislations, different countries, if you're expanding, etc. So whatever that looks like, learning is part of the journey. For most people, right, most successful people, they've failed, even in business, several times. It can span even into decades. Of course, we want to learn from that and not follow that same journey. But again, embrace failure, learn from it, and ultimately you have to be relentless. Right, next, deadlines and urgency. So this is so important. You need to set deadlines in business and you need to stick to it as well. Urgency is key. Without it, you're not going to get anything done. Daily deadlines will obviously help you compound a winner's mentality, and you need to be relentless in making things happen. That's the only way you're going to succeed. And let's just stick to daily deadlines, for example. Right, if you give yourself a deadline, right, I have to be out of bed by 5:30 a.m. That's a good place to start. Have to be in the gym by 6. Have to be in the sauna by 6:30. Have to be cold showered and ready to work from 7. Have to have my email and admin done by 8. You know, that's from 5 to 8 a.m. You've got so much done, so much achieved. You know, as you progress into the day, have to get a workout in, have to take new business calls. You need to set deadlines, and ultimately it's a part of helping your structure and how you can plan your day. But ultimately, deadlines are essential. Without deadlines, you're not going to get anything done and you're not going to succeed. If you set yourself a deadline and it's realistic, and sometimes deadlines may not seem realistic, but you push through them and work through them, ultimately you'll find a way to win. You'll find a solution. And business is about creative thinking and finding solutions to problems, and working towards deadlines is the only way that you're going to get things working quickly. Right, make notes because I'm moving at speed and we've got a lot to get through. Dropping gems here, so extract the knowledge and apply it. Right, where do we get to? Number 4, you need to cut out toxic people, full stop. There's no place for negative and toxic people in your life. That is a dead end statement. There's no contention to that at all. Pull out your phone right now, go through your contacts list, see who you have, start from A to Z. If that person doesn't bring any value, if they're negative, depressive, only call you when they need something, or they've got a problem, or need money, or whatever that looks like, edit, block, delete, move on. Cut these people out straight away. If you go through contacts and you find people that are winning, doing well, business minded, aligned with your goals in that space that you want to be in, then these are the people that you want to stay in touch with and network with. And likewise, network with winners as well. Put yourself in winning scenarios. When you're flying private, for example, or even let's say business or upper class, you're going to be in that space of winners. Other people who've made it to a considerable level in life are going to be within that space. Start having conversations, exchange value, and get yourself surrounded in that space. But ultimately, before you get there, cut the dead weight. Zero tolerance is my process. And look, what I'm saying to you is going to be quite harsh. It's going to be quite brutal. It's going to be very black and white. But the bottom line is, this is the extent of implementation, and and how far you have to go, and even how extreme you have to go at times to get your goals. And this is the decisions that you have to make. And again, it might sound easy for me to say, but these are difficult decisions. But you've got to look at it from Pareto's law, 80-20. Do you go through a 20% phase of implementing these difficult decisions, and then the rest of your life, the 80%, you're going to live well? Or are you going to avoid stepping into that space and, constantly walk with a nail in your foot? Of course you're not. Right, moving on then. So let's talk about parents and family. So again, quite a touchy subject, but ultimately, don't listen to your parents. They will mean well, but 9 times out of 10, they're not going to understand the current generation. The generation gaps from, 10 years to 5 years is drastic. And nowadays, especially, even with like Gen Z, and I don't even know what generation we're at the moment, how society and how the way the world works has changed. It's hard to even plan a year ahead, let alone look at some advice from someone who's lived it, 20 plus years ago. Everything's changing. And sometimes, 9 times out of 10, it's going to come from a good place. But ultimately, it's very difficult for your parents to help you get to that next level, especially if they've not achieved a massive amount of success as well. Every generation is different. And again, advice from 12 months ago is absolutely obsolete. Again, it circles back to, networking with winners and, going against the grain. Your parents, ultimately, they don't want to see you hurt, and they don't want to see your dreams shatter. They don't want to see you collapse, get depressed, break down, Xanax, suicide, off the balcony. They don't want that. But ultimately, right, what they do want is the tried and tested, governed way of maneuvering in life, which is essentially go to uni, get a job, get a house, get married, etc. My biggest regret was going to uni. I went to uni just to appease my parents, right? And it was an absolute waste of time. Nagging. I did it just to, keep them happy, but it was a complete waste of time. I studied business management, right? Got a degree in business management, and not a single teaching from there is applicable to what I've actually learned by being in the field. If you want to go to university, right, go to business university, which is going to the bank, getting a loan, and then going into the real world and playing the game of business. That's the only way you can actually be successful. And again, through my businesses, I hire uni grads and even uni students, and 9 times out of 10, what they know in theory is completely different to business implementation. So again, ignore your parents, be very, like a racehorse, locked in, focused, and don't let others, even people of significance, deter you. Right, next, create your own space. So again, you can't be in an environment, like a family home, parents, siblings, cats, dogs, etc. You need to be in a space where it's your own. There's no external, influences, noise. You just want to be in a space where you can create your own, right? As soon as you're 18, you should get out. And not just because you're going to uni, it's because you want to get out and take on the world. If you stay in your own space, you'll be a product of your environment. If that environment is not the environment you want to grow into be, it's not going to serve you. You'll get stuck, you'll get complacent. And ultimately, if it doesn't breed success, you need to create that space where you can thrive. Make it happen. Find a new build apartment. Make some phone calls. Get yourself in that apartment. Set it up. Things don't cost a lot of money these days. And if you want it that bad, you'll find a way. But yeah, create your own space away from distractions and put yourself in an optimum position to succeed. Right, number 7, you need to master selling. So bottom line is you need to learn how to sell, and it's a fundamental skill, especially in business. You need to learn how to speak, especially in person, to different audiences, people at different levels, statuses. I need to present yourself and articulate accordingly depending on who it is you're speaking to. And communication is just as much listening as it is talking. And we've all seen people who will try and, be a sort of car salesman and try and bombard you and just ramble on about whatever, right? Part of selling is listening. So you need to sort of master that as well. Listen in, find out what people's pain points are, what solutions, the features, benefits. I'm sure you can YouTube other videos on how to get into that space, but ultimately you need to master sales. The best thing you can do, and this is what I've done myself, is go door to door, knock on strangers' doors, learn selling gas, electric, whatever that looks like. Go out and do it. It's really good for character building and development. And getting a hard no from a stranger, it's a good lesson. And also getting a yes from a stranger in this capacity, it's massive in terms of skills and development. Pick up the telephone, do a telemarketing job. It's absolutely essential. Of course, practice will make perfect. Will make practice makes perfect. So if you're an introvert, or someone who doesn't particularly like speaking, you've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and go out there and start talking to people and learning that skill. It's not going to happen overnight, but you've got to keep working on it. Again, common sense, but the reality is life is simple. People make it complicated, so let's keep things simple. And communication is key. And just to wrap that back round, ultimately, sales is business and business is sales, period. If you can't, master selling, how are you going to sell your business, your ideas to VCs, raise capital, even to a team in terms of getting them on board, selling them your vision, getting them to buy into what it is you want to do? Life is sales, so get good at it. Right. Number 8, social media. So you need to build your social media presence. So whether that's on TikTok, Twitter, which is now X, YouTube, Instagram, you need to develop your personal brand, and these will compound over time. Social media isn't going anywhere. Take Instagram, look how big Instagram is. Practically everyone has an Instagram account. TikTok just came out of nowhere and took the world by storm, and Twitter has just recently been refreshed as X, and it's going in a different direction. And ultimately, if you start to build and compound on social media, it's going to help with your business. It's going to help with your personal branding. If you post about, I don't know, finance trading, you can pop that onto Twitter. You can share some stats, reports, etc. Maybe show some charts on YouTube, talk about your experience in the sector. And over time, you'll build trust and credibility, and people get to know you for being in that space. And the bottom line is, that's going to drive your business and that's going to drive your sales. It's also important as well, don't care what people think. It doesn't matter. And also, success attracts hate. So if you're coming to this space, if you're coming to this game thinking, he might laugh, she might say this, I'm going to show my mates. If that's going to bother you, and if you're not, thick-skinned, it's not the right space for you. Hating is part of the game. And at the end of the day, if no one's hating, no one's paying attention. It's everything has an equal, right? Even the most famous singer, let's say Taylor Swift, she's got an army of supporters, but also she'll have just an equal amount of detractors. It is what it is. And at the same time, just have the perspective of people who will take time, look at your content, just to post a BS comment or, whatever, right? Coming from a negative space, that's because that's where they're from. Remember, winners focus on winning. I don't even have the time to go through people's socials or see what other people are doing. I'm too interested on myself. So when you have, experienced negativity and attracting hate, it's part of the game. But just remember, these people are secretly hurt and jealous, and let them stay there. And it's a good sign that you're getting attention. So build your social media, embrace the hate. You don't need to pay attention. Winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. It's as simple as that. So moving on, number 9, prioritize business over pleasure. Easier said than done, especially for men. Don't let women distract you. Business always needs to come first. Pleasure can come later on. Always get your work in order. I'm telling you now, relationships will impact your business, will impact your journey for personal development. Women want attention, and that's all they want. And they don't care how they get it. That's all they want. And attention is a distraction, and it's going to throw you off your game. What you need to do is be really sort of isolated and focused on the task in hand. Get all your business errands, activities, objectives, assignments, lock them off for the day. In the evening, pick up some phones. You can catch up with a few girlfriends or whatever and go from there. But always get your business in order. Never sidetrack a business objective, on a pursuit for a woman. That's an absolute no-go. a woman can either make or break a man. I've seen absolutely both ends of the spectrum, but ultimately, think about it. If you focus on the business and you're successful, you'll naturally attract the right attention from women. You don't need to chase it, they'll come to you. If you're too busy chasing women and getting easily distracted, you're not going to get anything done, and you're naturally going to create more resistance. So remember, opposites attract, right? And in this case, prioritize your business. You do well, you're successful, you're on social, people know your brand, your company, you're a public figure. All the women will come to you. So when you've got a bit of downtime in the evening, you can reply back to a few DMs and go from there. So again, prioritize business over pleasure. Right, number 10, stick to one business model. So the world we live in these days is it's so easy to start a business in any space, whether that be finance markets, social media, agencies, forex, crypto, drop shipping, content creation, being in the influencer space. And ultimately, you need to focus and become an expert in one space and be known for that to begin with. And it is very easy to get distracted, and you can see other people, navigating and moving in different spaces. You got to remember, these people already have, the network, they're established, they have the resources. But especially at the start, you need to focus on one thing, right? And just use the analogy of multitasking. Focus on one thing and get it done. If I had 10 different tasks to do, I had 10 different people in the room having a meeting about 10 different things, I'm not going to get anything done, right? We're not going to talk about anything meaningful. We're going to go here, there, everywhere, and we're going to lose focus. Whereas if we focus on one thing at a time, one meeting, one objective, what's the outcome, follow it through, bang, onto the next task. Same with business, right? We want to blow up a drop shipping model. That might take 3, 6, 12, even years to get set up. But once you've got that all in order, right, in order to get that successful, to make it, at least a 7-figure business, you would have built resources, network, foundations. You would have learnt the life skills to then move it across, to then navigate into different pockets. But for one, be an expert. Don't start building and then look somewhere else. It's not going to work. So focus on one thing, master it, and then consider diversifying once you hit 7 figures in that space. So a lot of game, and we're spitting it very quick as well. Remember, we talked about speed at the start, moving fast. I'm doing you guys a favor by sharing some business insights to save your time. I haven't got time to, waste, and I'm going to be very direct and to the point. You can re-watch this, read between the lines. It's all self-explanatory. But ultimately, believe what I say and take action. You need to stop dreaming and start doing. And it's as simple as that. Right, I've got other endeavors to look out for. But again, re-watch the video. If you found any value, then subscribe, like, share it with friends. But ultimately, action is key. I need to check out, but we'll check in maybe tomorrow and we'll go from there.